Hi, my drum school. I'm very pleased to announce that the exams are all over. It's been 8 long, hard days for all involved, and we can all take a bit of a rest now. My name's Mark. I've been examining here for the last 8 days and the last 5 years to be exact. One of the things that I've enjoyed most about my 5 years here in Singapore is seeing the growth of this school. It all started here in this room. This was the first place that I came to, and then eventually my drum school opened a second school, and now there's the third school opened up. So there are now 30 teachers, around 450 students across 3 centres. So it's just become massive. But the thing that really impresses me the most, and I mean this quite sincerely, is that the quality hasn't been compromised. Sometimes when businesses get too big, quality levels drop, but these people are serious about their drumming, as they say. Overall, the exams have been really good this year. There's been a clear improvement in my opinion. I think it's really paid off this year. I've really felt confident that students are starting at the exact correct level. One of the areas that I've found that has clearly improved this year is the general knowledge. There's been a real need for some assistance and some information about general knowledge for some time, and we finally got this book out, so we're all really pleased about this, and this will be a real help for the teachers and the students. And I must commend the teachers on the effort that they've put in this year, because the general knowledge is clearly improved, and it's a real credit to everybody involved. One of the major things that we can all take out of this particular year's examining is that 3 of the students have reached the diploma level, and that's really a very big deal to reach diploma and go all that way. Just to clarify for you a little bit about how in-depth the diploma exam is, we'll just backtrack for a moment and go back to grade 8. Grade 8 is the highest level of the grades, and it's probably one of the most important grades to actually go through. It would be near impossible to master this grade without doing grade 8. Grade 8 rounds off the final bit of technical work, the last time that a student does their oral tests, and it's the final time that they have to sight read as well. It's a real rounding off of the grades. And then the diploma level is all about putting all of that skill and knowledge that you've learned through all the grades into a creative and a musical context. So at this level, there are 4 pieces to be performed, but they're actually very big, and they're pretty crazy. Like, you know, they look a little bit like that, and they can be 5 or 6 pages long for each piece. So you might play somewhere between 20 and 24 pages of music. And it's a big, nasty one hour long exam, so you've got to have all the foundations to get through that level. It's also very big on general knowledge. There's a huge amount of general knowledge discussion that goes into this sort of level, so the students have to be really well prepared and thoroughly prepared for that kind of things. And to make things even more interesting, there are 2 examiners for a diploma exam. So between those 2 examiners, you could have 70 years worth of musical experience. So you've got to really be on your toes for this sort of exam and really know your stuff. So it's a little bit more challenging. So my strong advice to anyone considering these really high grades would be, don't jump the grade 8. You just got to do it. It's so important to lay the foundations for this. And then if you're wanting to do this one, that's wonderful, you'll be ready to roll then. I probably should make a very special mention to Master Pai, to Christal and to James Pang, who have all achieved their Associate Performer Diploma. It's a great thing to have. It's another credit to my drum school as well that they've actually got 3 diploma holders. There's only one other school in the world that has generated 3 diplomas from their teaching. That's at a school somewhere in Melbourne, so it's a real honour to them, and they're probably about to overtake that school as well because of the numbers that they have here, so it's a real credit to the school as a whole. So the memorable moment from my 2014 visit was I was examining a young fella, and I needed to just finish writing some information on his report, so I said, just have a rest for a moment while I finish writing this down before we start the next piece. And then with that, so that just cracked me right up. I thought, well, he's just being obedient. I asked him to have a rest, and he literally had a rest. So that was my memorable moment from this particular tour. And I was fortunate enough to have 1 day off in the middle of my 8 days of examining, so it's 9 days total here in Singapore. I managed to catch a little bit of a sleep in, which was very much appreciated. Then I caught a cab out to a university, and I saw James Pang conduct a drum clinic out there, all about the subject of playing drums in a church environment. So it was really good to hang there and enjoy James's playing and listen to his teaching, and I picked up a few tricks myself and got to hang out with some Singapore drummers, some young church drummers, and we had some good chats. It was great. And then the highlight of the day off, of course, was going on the Singapore flyer with James and his family, and we were lucky enough to catch the full dress rehearsal for the Singapore National Day, and we caught all the fireworks while we were up in the flyer, so it was a really good night out. And then to just wrap it all up, James and I went back to his third branch, the brand new branch that was in planning this time last year, the Katong branch, and we got to hang out there and check out the drum kits and the equipment and see the new setup, and it's a really cool setup, as you would expect. So it was a good day off. On the subject of achieving and working hard, I'm like the Singaporean people are. I like to work really hard and I like to train hard and practice hard and push myself hard. But one of the philosophies that I personally live by is that I always try to better myself, and I worry more about how I can get better at doing things myself than worrying too much about whether I'm better or worse than the next drummer, because it's not really a competition. This is not a sport. It's music, so it's all about becoming a better player and being the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. That, of course, is only my philosophy. Doesn't completely tie in with the Kiasu philosophy. I've done a small study on Kiasuism this week, and I'm learning some new cultural things about Singapore. So work hard, enjoy your music, but don't worry too much about winning and losing. Just worry about doing the best you can possibly do. I'll see you at the year-end concert.